Okay, hello everyone. I'm Andresito de Guzman, the community lead for PWE Pilipinas, and you're watching our PWE Pilipinas Live web talks. So before we begin, let me introduce to you first our community, PWE Pilipinas. So let me make this bigger. So we are PWA Pilipinas. We are a community for makers, designers, and users of progressive web apps here in the Philippines. So our mission is to create events and other initiatives just like this to promote adoption of progressive web apps and modern web. Because our vision is that progressive web apps would be adopted widely dito sa Philippines. And we have different types of meetups that we organize. We have our PWA Pilipinas meetup where you could network with different professionals and students that are part of our community. We also have PWA Pilipinas Live where we broadcast different talks, so just like this one. And we also have workshops where we do hands-on activities where you can learn how to do different things. Like recently, we have a workshop for PWA Builder, for Figma, for information architecture, and more. So yeah, and currently we are celebrating Oktoberfest. That's why our theme is very Oktoberfest. If you wanted to learn what different open source projects you can join, what other communities that have uh, Oktoberfest events, you can visit. Sorry, you can visit Oktoberfest .pwpilipinas.org. Okay. Also, if you wanted to learn more about our community, we are everywhere. We're on Facebook. We have our Facebook groups if you want to ask questions. We have Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we also have our PW Pilipinas app where you can register and get an e-certificate for almost all of our events. Speaking of e-certificates, you can register for this event and get an e-certificate. Just visit bit.ly/webtalk-astro um, to um, to register. Just make your account and register and check in. So for those asking, how would they get an e-certificate? I'll just show this very quickly. So let me demonstrate if you're asking. So make sure that you're registered. Look for the event that you want to register. For this event, it's getting started with Astro. So just click register. Make sure that you finish this process. And once that's done, you may attend the event or go back to the event page, which is missing, which is here, and click the check-in button. Just make sure that you're checked in. Okay. So once that's done, if you do not have your first name and last name, or this is the first time that you're doing this, you will be asked for your name. Just make sure to fill that up. But if not, you can just click download certificate and download your certificate very easily. Okay. So, um, as a reminder, PWA Pilipinas is a safe space. Make sure to read, understand, and follow our code of conduct that you can visit by opening the link on the screen. Okay, so let's not prolong our announcements. So I'll be introducing to you our speaker for tonight. Um, our speaker loves to explore and build things using different web technologies. So our speaker is currently an app development team lead at Accenture. Please welcome Bryan Ribo. Hi, Bryan. I think you're on mute.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So hi. Thanks for introducing me, Andre. Um, it's great to you know join you guys here sa PWA Pilipinas.
Oo.
So without further ado, I guess let's start na yung
Yes.
getting started with Astro. So basically, Astro is a web framework. Um, it's an all-in-one web framework for building fast, content-focused website. So when we say content-focused website, mostly mga blog sites, mga e-commerce, most probably mga news site then as well. And I think this was released last year. version point something. I forgot. Pero this year, August 2022, they released their first version, so version 1.0. So you guys, let's discuss that, yung Astro Web Framework. So ano ba yung mga key features ni Astro Framework? As mentioned, it's basically a content focus, so designed for building content-rich websites such as marketing sites, publishing, documentation, blogs, portfolios, and e-commerce. So most of the modern web frameworks that we have basically designed sila to build web applications. So ito yung mga complex na mga applications. For examples are yung login, dashboard, mga inboxes, social networks, and etc. So we have to understand na yung unique feature ni Astro is more focused on content, and basically yung undelivered na yung delivered niya na unmatched na performance when it comes sa yun nga, sa performance. so kung yung project nyo naglalay down dun sa second or sa first na category, Astro might not be the right choice for you. Pero okay lang yun. Pwede nyo namang i-check yung mga other stuffs like Next.js, I think Remix as well, Gatsby. So ayan. Server first. So server side rendering over client side rendering. So basically yung mga traditional na mga server side frameworks natin like PHP, WordPress, etc. You have to learn a second language. So if your first language is basically JavaScript, so you don't have to learn another language para lang makapag server side ka. So with Astro, you can use yung JavaScript skills nyo to basically build up a website. So fast by default. So nowadays, very critical ang pagiging fast or good performance sa isang website. So ayan. So easy to use. So if familiar ka na sa mga what do you call this? Yung mga modern na mga frameworks or library, let's say React, Svelte, Solid, Vue.js, etc. You can use them to basically integrate yung mga gusto nyong features na ilalagay sa Astro. Later, we will try to do some simple functionalities regarding this framework or libraries. So what makes Astro special? So I'm not sure if you've heard this. So basically yung island architecture. So ang Astro Islands, they have implemented this. So zero JavaScript runtime, power of islands, and lazy loading islands. So yung zero JavaScript runtime is basically yung HTML nire-render sa server, tapos in-strip niya yung mga excess or mga unused na mga JavaScript. Power of islands, so what this means is basically naglo-load yung mga individual, mga non-blocking na mga component islands in parallel. So lazy loading, this is something na let's say you wanted na mag-interact lang yung JS mo pagdating sa viewport or pag nagpakita na siya sa viewport. Yan. Later, we'll try that as well. So this is a typical look basically of a website. So yung header natin, let's say this is made out of React.js. Yung fancy sidebar natin, JSX then maybe it's a React or a Solid. So yung another section of it is merong static content. So ito yung wala masyadong interaction with the user. Let's say meron kang heavy na carousel. Lahat to, once na isang beses na nag-load, matagal maglo-load yung basically yung page mo. So with the island architecture, meron tayong mga ginagamit na mga client directives. So an example of which is yung client load, client idle, and client visible. So client directives, so by default, basically yung component natin is not hydrated in the client. So if wala tayong ginamit na mga client na mga directives, magre-render lang siya as plain HTML. So without yung mga JavaScript. So kahit anong isalpak nyo doon or ilagay nyo doon na mga elements or HTML elements with JavaScript, hindi siya gagana without yung client na directive. And that's what makes Astro, I guess, performance or mabilis yung performance. So ang client load, ito yung mga client directives as mentioned. Client load, immediately visible siya sa UI elements. Client idle, lower priority UI elements that don't need to be immediately interactive. Client visible, once the component has entered the user's viewport. Client media, I think ito yung pwede mo dito ilagay yung media query, sidebar toggles, or other elements that might not only be visible on certain screen sizes. So ayan, later we will try yung some of the client directives dito. So ayan, design for content nga siya. So we can pull yung mga content from file system or fetch it remotely from your favorite CMS, database, or API. So kung meron kayong, I think yung mga pang WordPress, API, local storage, ayan, pwede nyo silang gamitin din. So sinusuportahan din ito yung SSG or static site generator, and live server, yung server-side rendering, so na nag-render ng content mo on demand. So this is an example for the CMS. I think Storyblock is a CMS. Ayan, pwede mo siyang i-consume sa loob ng Astro mo. And Markdown, so yung mga MD files mo, pwede mo rin siyang ilagay sa loob ng Astro. MDX, ito yung Markdown files with components na JSX or Astro components, pwede rin siya. API, ayan. Pwede ka rin mag-fetch from API to display yung mga content ng API na yan. So, integrations. Yung mga integrations na possible sa Astro, there's the list or ito, content. So, marami siya. So, you can try to check them out later, yung mga content niya na pwede mong i-integrate sa system or sa website mo. So, ayan. So, madami sila na pwede mong ilagay sa loob ng iyong website. And from there, you can try to use kung ano yung mga kailangan mo. So, when it comes to deployment, pwede rin siyang i-deploy. So, marami siyang options for you to deploy. So, meron dito yung Deno, Netlify, GitHub. I think may Firebase din dito, Vercel, GCP, AWS. So, you have a lot of options kung saan mo gusto i-deploy yung website mo. Sharing state. So, basically, we have implemented, let's say you have implemented different frameworks. Of course, as far as I know, gagana yung mga sarili nilang store. But then, if you're planning to connect them from other frameworks, I think hindi possible yon if yung sarili nilang state or store yung gagamitin mo. So, which is why they introduce yung Nano Store. So, it's basically it's a bare minimum or it's a lightweight na pwede mong i-integrate sa website mo, and framework agnostic siya. So, pwede mo siyang gamitin sa Svelte, sa React, Vue, Svelte, Solid. So, ayun. So, without further ado, I think we should try it out. So, ang demo natin, basically yung integration and client directives, yung magiget tayo ng data via the APIs, simple blog to consume yung mga MD files, and I think we can integrate as well yung Tailwind na CSS, if you're familiar, and some stylings Tapos, yung sharing state using NanoStore. So, let's try it out. Upload this. So, for this, let's try to create a project using Astro. So, for us to get started, pwede nating i-type yung npm. So, before you get started pala, make sure you have a Visual Studio Code or any editor that you prefer. I just prefer Visual Studio Code. Node.js, npm as well. So, ayan. So, for us to get started, we should type in npm create Astro. Ayan. So, meron na siyang mga details dito na pwede nating i-check. Ito. Okay to proceed, yes. So, let's say demo Astro. Name natin siya ng demo Astro. So, dito, mapaprompt kayo na may mga options dito, just the basics, blog, portfolio, documentation site, or empty project. So, tayo, yung just the basics lang. Just to get started with Astro. So, it might take a while. We can install the dependencies as well. After which, pwede rin nating i-install yung mga integrations na gusto natin. So, for this, let's try to install yung React, Svelte, Vue, Tailwind, Solid, JS, just to demonstrate kung pwede natin silang gamitin talaga. So, oops, it's just taking a while. Sige. So, hindi punta tayo magigit. Siguro chill lang tayo sa TypeScript. Hindi tayo masyadong magta-type checking. So, ayan. Pwede na nating i-view yung project natin na demo Astro. Ayan. Open natin siya. So, ito yung itsura ng folder structure, I guess. And try natin siyang i-run. npm run start. npm start. So, to get the list of commands, pwede nating i-check doon sa loob ng package JSON. Ito, npm astro run dev, start, build, preview, and Astro. Ayan. So, pwede natin siya i-open dito. Ayan. So, ito na yung Astro natin. So, we can see na naka-up and running na agad tayo with Astro. So, and I think yung JS dito is pinapakita kasi because of my extensions. Wait lang. Try natin sa incognito. Ayan. So as you can see, wala masyadong JS na niload. Although, mamaya, matatry pa rin natin yung mga JS natin na hindi siya mag-load. So for this, let's try to explore yung folder structure niya. So meron tayong mga components, layouts, pages, and dito mapapasok lahat ng mga configs na ini-install natin or kino-configure natin for Astro. So let's try to install yung mga frameworks. npx Astro add React, Svelte, Solid, solid.js. Sorry, and adjust natin. Solid.js. View and Tailwind. So it might take a while. Oh, wait, let's adjust. I think it's solid, not solid.js. Ayun, tama nga. So wala palang solid.js. Solid lang pala. So, well, might take a while yung pag-install ng mga dependencies. Pero you don't have to manually install na kasi yung mga pagko-configure niya. So, let's try to explore yung basic structure ng Astro. So, ito, meron yung Astro file na yung mga on top of this triple dash, I forgot what is this called. Pero dito nagli-live yung mga JS mo na gagamitin mo sa loob ng Astro. Then, ito yung layout mo for Astro. Ayan. Tapos, sa loob ng layout, ayan, meron tayo yung mga slot dito. Dito niya nire-render kung ano yung children, basically, nung sa loob ng layout mo. So, if you're familiar with, I guess, sa children ng React, so parang same concept siya, yung slot. Ito. Ayan. Pwede mo rin pangalanan yung slot mo dito. Just to specify mo, basically, yung i-render mo na component dun sa loob ng layout mo. Oops na ba? Ito. So, ayan, na-install natin yung mga configurations, some adjustments. Let's check yung Astro config natin na file. So, sa Astro config na file, andito na yung React, Svelte, solid.js, Vue, and Tailwind. So, ayan. It means pwede na natin siyang magamit. So, try natin. So, alisin lang natin yung mga codes na nandito. Let's just clean this up. Remove natin sila. Ayan. So, ayan. Sa first part, try natin yung to demonstrate yung each of the frameworks or library. Gawa tayo ng natin to. So, gawa tayo ng folder na may React. This is just to give, ini-specify lang natin or hinihiwalay lang natin yung mga folders nila, yung mga components. View, solid, and Svelte. And so, with this, pwede na tayong gumawa ng mga component natin. Gawa tayo ng counter, a simple counter file. Then, of course, master of copy-paste. Let's try to copy-paste na lang yung code. Eto. So, sa loob ng counter file, meron tayong use state, which is ginagamit na rin sa React mismo. Ayan. So, pwede na natin siyang i-import dito sa loob ng Astro natin. So, with this, try nating import to si counter na React dito sa loob ng ito, counter. Ayan. So, try natin. So, nag-render na yung React natin na component. Pero, hindi siya gumagana. So, if I try to click yung one, so if I try to click yung one, So, hindi siya nag-load. And if we try to inspect as well, walang JS na na-render for this specific na component. So, let's try to add yung client directive. So, gusto natin on-load, maload agad yung JS natin. So, as you can see, try ulit natin i-refresh. Nagkaroon ng mga JS and nagkaroon din ng mga TS file. Eto. So, ayan. So, niload niya na yung component natin na React. So, if we try to click this one, so gumagana na siya. Ayan. So, nakapag-integrate tayo ng framework natin, which is yung React. So, let's try naman sa ibang mga frameworks. So, copy-paste lang ulit tayo for solid. Counter solid.jsx. For this one, ito yung counterpart niya for solid.js. Try naman natin siyang i-import and use tayo ng ibang directive. Ito, counter solid. Import natin siya. Yan. Solid. Yan. So, nag-render siya. Adjust natin to. Counter from solid.js. So, ayan. So, na-import na rin natin yung solid.js natin. Pero, hindi pa rin siya nagre-render. So, try rin natin lagyan ng directive. So, pag visible siya. So, since visible siya agad sa viewport, magdi-display siya and i-render niya kaagad yung component na file. So, ayan. So, nag-load na yung solid.js. Ayan. Sige, try natin yung with the Svelte and ayan. Pati yung view. I-render din natin sila. Ayan. Then, we will add basically yung mga styling nila. Ito. So, ayan. So, import na natin yung other frameworks. Ito. Counter solid. Counter view. Counter Svelte. Ayan. So, ito yung other frameworks or library na in-import natin and in-integrate natin. So, gumagana pa rin yung React, solid.js, gana pa din, and the view as well. So, as for the Svelte, if you'll notice, hindi kasi siya kita sa viewport. So, basically, when we scroll down, yan, dun lang yung time na nag-load yung JS natin, dun sa file ng Svelte. So, ayan. So, nakapag-load na tayo so na-bring natin yung framework na, let's say, framework of your own choice. So, ayan, yun yung isang power ni Astro. Next is, let's try naman yung mag-fetch from an API. Let's try to get this one. Close natin siya. Gawa tayo ng page. So, as for the routing, ang routing ni Astro is basically file-based yung pag-route niya. For this, try natin mag-fetch ng data. So, create component script block. So, script block na lang for Astro. And then, try natin mag-import from JSON placeholder na data. So, import muna natin yung layout natin. Import the layout. And then, we display it. So, naghahanap din siya ng parameters, ng props, sorry. Pwede natin ilagay users. Close na natin ito. Layout. Yan. Try natin mag-fetch ng data using fetch API. So, import lang natin yung mga JSON placeholder. Tapos from here, try natin siyang i-display. Yan. JSON, stringify, get users. Oops. Yan, try lang natin ng konting space. Yan. Try natin siyang i-view. Try natin puntahan yung /users. So, as you can see, nakapag-render tayo ng, nakapag-get tayo ng data using fetch with an Astro file. So, ayan. Try natin ayusin yung styling. Ito. Yes natin. Yan. To make it a little bit presentable. So, ayan. So, nakakuha tayo ng data and na-render natin sa Astro file natin. So, next is, try naman natin mag-consume ng MD file. So, to name it, pwede tayong gumawa ng another page for blog. Sorry, page pala, file. So, blog.astro. Ayan. So, import lang ulit natin yung layout natin. Import yung layout. So, IntelliSense. Ayan. Tapos, consume lang natin. So, as for the blog, meron si Astro na function to consume yung mga static files natin. So, ang tawag niya dito is astro.blog. So, maraming laman itong Astro na to na type. I guess type. Ayan. So, pwede nyo i-check when you get started with Astro dun sa personal ninyo. So, marami siyang laman dito. Ayan. So, ito, request for SSR, slots, mga hash, ito. Ayan, marami siyang mga pwedeng magamit dito. So for this, to consume yung mga static files, gagamit tayo ng blog. So, yun lang ulit natin. Blog section. Ayan. Tapos, this is our blog section. Ayan. For us to view yung blog section, so since naka-file-based siya, yung routing niya, so kung ano yung nakalagay dito na file name, yun yung pupuntahan niya. So blog. Oops. So hindi pa pala natin nasa-setup yung mga MD files natin. Basically, ito yung mga markdown na i-consume natin for us to display yung mga blogs natin. Yan. Copy-paste, of course. Gawa tayo ng folder for our post. Sorry, i-close ko lang. Gawa tayo ng folder for our post. And let's name this, sorry, mahaba kasi yung mga post. So, try na lang natin ito. A blog post siguro ng PWA Pilipinas. Ito, so may ano lang tayo, pang content na lorem ipsum. And then we will try to consume this one. So, ito, post. And dito, i-consume natin siya. So, section. Div. Imamap natin siya. So, post.map. Item. Or post. And then, from there, we will try to display yung content. So, sige, i-ano muna natin. Then later, try nating integrate with yung Tailwind. na CSS. So, eto. Meron tayong A section dito. Alisin lang natin yung mga tail element para hindi masyadong confusing. Ayan. So, na-access natin yung laman ng empty files using yung sa Astro. Tapos, tag for post.frontmatter.author. And then, a way for us to navigate yung sa specific na post kapag view natin yung details. So, remove lang natin muna to. From here, yan. So, let's try to check. Remove natin pala to. Oops. Yan. So, let's try to check yung blog section natin. I think wala siyang return. Kaya, hindi nagpapakita. And, so, ito yung blog section natin. Ito yung, yung title. Ito yung author. Ito yung sa read more. So, if you click this, as you can see, yung sa routing niya, nag-view siya ng specific na file or specific na routing ID. Yan. So, later, try natin siyang, or actually, i-consume na natin siya and i-display na natin yung specific na page na yan. So, for this, we will try to create a dynamic routing. So, gagawa tayo ng blog. And then, with the slug.astro. So, ayan. And then, nagamit tayo ng function na import na natin layout. Oops. Import the layout. Import layout. Ayan. Tapos, gagamit tayo ng function na get static paths. So, I think this is a built-in function sa Astro used for SSG. So, pag sa static site yung ginagawa ninyo. And then, consume lang ulit natin or get natin ulit yung specific na file. Oops. Export async. And so, ito. Nandito yung mga post natin. Then, yung sa slug para sa parameters sa URL natin. And try natin siyang i-display. Sa loob ng post, kukunin pa pala natin yung specific na content. Tsaka yung content details. So, yung content details is yung ito. Then, ito yung mga nasa front matter. Front matter nga pala yung tawag dito. So, sorry, I forgot. Pero ito yan, front matter yung tawag dito sa taas na to. And then, we have yung mga content. So, which is nasa labas na nung front matter natin. Afterwards, consume natin siya. Let's try to get yung details. So, i-display natin yung title dito sa loob ng tab natin. And then, navigation, pabalik ng site natin. And then, remove na natin yung mga tailwind classes. Ayan. So, ito. Try natin. Refresh. Error na ba? Close natin itong isa. Try natin refresh. Sorry. I forgot. So, for this pala to work, we have to put yung static na way para makapag-output tayo. So, since static lang tayo, so there are two types, yung sa SSR and then sa SSG. So yung static yung pipiliin natin. Ayan. Siya nag-load. Try ulit natin siya. Time out. Natin. Start ulit natin. Ayan. Try natin puntahan yung blog. And then read more. So ayan, na-consume na natin yung, or na-display na natin yung MD file. So if you're planning to display yung mga MD files nyo or static na mga contents ninyo, ayan, pwede nyong gawin yan through yung Astro na glob. So try naman natin for our next part is yung oops, nag-back siya sa blog. Dapat so go back. Wala. At hindi siya bumalik. Anyway, try natin i-fix yan later. Try natin yung pag-share naman ng state between two components, two separate components. Let's try to create a component, a form for React. So let's say create lang tayo ng simple na to-do form, to-do list, sorry. With this, nagawa tayo ng simple na form with to-do form, to-do list, sorry. And then, so import natin yung React. Sige, diretso na lang natin. React. And then, a functional component na pangalanan nating to-do form. Tapos, import tayo ng use state. And gawa rin tayo ng interface. Pangalanan nating I2Dos. And my name with type of string. Description, type of string din. Ayan. Afterwards, tayo ng mga functions nila. Pag-create ng to-do. And then, dito na natin i-apply yung tailwind. So, siyempre, kung copy-paste lang ulit ng CSS ng tailwind. Ayan. So, may mga missing tayo dito. I think this is for React lang. Ayan. Ay, mag-import ng React. It's weird. Try lang natin na lagyan ng any ta para mag-proceed lang. Ayan. So for this, ito yung magiging ito yung store natin, which is gagawin natin dito. Build muna tayo ng store. Let's say, let's create another folder. Maybe API. Yan. Dito natin nilagay new file, stores, to-do.ts. Yan. So sa loob ng to-do natin, mag-i-import tayo ng atom. Ito yung way para makapag-store tayo ng mga state or mga data, nano stores. Which is, kailangan din natin siyang i-add. npx astro add nano stores. Hindi niya mahanap si nano store. Check ko lang ha. Wala. Nano store. Kailangan pala natin i-npm install si nano store. Ayan. So, wala pa pala siya sa loob ng Astro mismo. So it's a separate na package. Pero I think sila din ata yung nag-suggest na gamitin to. Pwede ko bang ma-drag punto dito. Ayan. So ito, yung Nano Store. Sorry. Ayan. Ito yung pag-setup niya. Tapos ito yung parang initial state nung store. Tapos dito sa baba niya yung mga function na pwede kang mag-add, pwede kang mag-delete, etc. Ayan. So try natin maglagay ng initial state ng store natin. So sa store, const natin yung to-dos or direction na lang natin. And so interface natin ulit. Interface ay to-dos. It's better to separate them, pero dito, iisa na lang yung file na paglalagyan natin. Yan. String. So yung mock to-dos natin, pwede tayong karoon ng values para mag-render ka agad. Makita natin yung laman. Name, task 1. Description. This is my task 1. So, ayan. So, try natin siyang i-consume and makapag-add tayo ng set to do's. So, ang ginawa dito, parang sinet lang dito using nag-structure and itong underscore to do's. So, din-structure niya or in-spread niya yung laman ng mock to do's. And yung bagong to do's na value na papasok once na ginamit yung form, papasok doon sa loob ng atom natin na underscore to do. Ayan. So, try na natin silang gamitin. Import lang natin. API. I think dapat store yung folder, pero anyway. Ayan. Export natin siya. Export default to do form. Ayan. Yan. Try naman nating i-build yung mga components natin to display yung data na i-add natin. So, diretso na lang natin. To do row. So, meron tayong simple na declaration dito ng mga variables, yung name tsaka yung description. And then, meron din tayo nung table mismo. Just to show. Ayan. So, meron yung stores. Oops. I think nagbago to. Yan. Yan. So, try natin sila i-display. Yung file ulit to do that Astro. Import natin sila. Import to do form. And import din natin yung to do table natin. Tapos, yung layout, of course. And from here, to do section. Tapos, i-load natin sila, yung to do form, using our directives, and yung to do table. Ayan. So, yan. So, try natin sila, yung to do. Ayan. So, ito na yung basic or simple na to-do list natin. So, meron tayong form, and then meron din tayong description. So, try natin. This is my task 2. This is my task 2. So, from there, nakapag-integrate tayo nung mga frameworks, different frameworks. Bakit natin to ginagawa? Siguro may mga scenarios na may mga libraries or libraries na gusto kayong implement sa certain framework na existing sa inyo, pero parang hindi gumagana, ganon, or something na gusto mong i-implement sa other frameworks or mas popular doon. So ayun, pwede mo siyang i-bring together sa loob ng Astro para magamit mo yung mga ganong, yung mga libraries of your choice. So I think yun yung part nung sa demo. In-apply ko siya. Ito yung sample niya. Supposedly. So ito yung sample ng mga components, users. Ito, simple blog. So to view yung blog, to-do list, test 30, and yung gusto ko talaga dito is basically when you try to check sa Lighthouse, pag nag-generate ng report, almost 100 siya, yung score niya. So let's try. Ayan. So when it comes to performance, accessibility, best practices, SEO, ayan, panalo dyan si Astro. And ayan. And actually, tapos let's check out yung mga other slides. Saan yung slides ko? Sorry. Nawala ba ako? History. So, let's try to check out yung part na to. So, we can also check out yung sa Astro, meron na silang mga integrations with PWA, SPA, and may mga showcases sila dito na mga nirevamp na website from other stack, ginawa nilang Astro. May mga templates din for your probably blogs, documentations. Tapos marami rin silang integrations dito. And yung docs nila, of course, as well. Napakaganda nung docs nila. Sorry. Ayan. So dito yung mga integrations nila. I think they have Lit.js as well and React, Angular. Ayan. So mostly lahat talaga ng frameworks is pinapasok nila sa Astro. So ayan. Ito yung official documentation ng Astro, astro.docs, and showcases. So yung Firebase blog, NordVPN, ayan, one of the big guys na nag-shift na rin sa Astro. Ayan, marami pa kayong makikitang mga websites dito sa showcases nila. Ayan. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay. So, thank you, Brian, for that wonderful talk. Do we have questions from our audience? If you have questions, comment them sa comment section. Ayan. So, okay. Ayan, puro shout out kasi. So, magbasa muna tayo ng mga shout out habang siguro nag-isip pa sila pwede kita. So, may mga shout out tayo from Rel. Ayan. Hindi ko alam kung sticker to or something. But wala siyang laman. From Paulo. Ayan. We also have from sino pa ba? From June Paul. Yan. Good evening po from Mindoro. Yan, State University. Nationwide tayo. And from Andre Tagawa. Good evening.
Kala ko Manila lang to.
Okay. From PWA Pilipinas and to our speaker, Sir Brian. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening po.
Sabi din ni John Matthew, good evening po. Sabi ni Paolo, ayan. Ay, nice to meet you, Dobel. From Dana, and good evening. From Marco, good evening. Walang laman. Tawag ko sticker yan. From Calix, Andre, ayan. Dito ka. Tag-attendance. From, sino pa ba? From Allen. Yan. From John Garzo. From Nathaniel, nandito din siya. Ayan. From Drishan. J. Lord. James. Ito si James Lobora. Si Juchi. Ayan. Tsaka si Allen and Dayara. So may questions ba tayo? Siguro question na lang. Ano ba? Ano yung parang like why would you choose Astro over like mag next, 'di ba next famous din siya.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
parang ano
famous din siya.
yung parang reason to like choose Astro
Um,
over next.
Siguro, ayun. Personally, siguro, it's easy to get started. Then, let's say, I'm coming from a different framework. And of course, meron naman sila mga corresponding. Let's say, yung Svelte for Svelte Kit, React, Next.js, ayun, Vue, Nox.js, ayun. So, syempre, for Astro, I think if you want to get started easily when it comes sa mga blogs mo or other content-focused sites mo, ayun, you can basically get started agad. And then yung mga MD files, pwede mo kaagad siyang magamit, ma-display ka agad. And when it comes to performance, actually, they did a comparison. So parang it's Astro versus X. I'll try to share it. So eto. So they did a number of comparisons. So Docusaurus, when it comes sa pag-audit, zoom in ko pa. So ayan. So when it comes sa performance nila, meron yung sa Docusaurus na 53 out of 100. As the performance, nag-92 siya. And I think they also have for Next.js. Next.js, ayan. Next.js, they have a case study na nag-build sila ng documentation website comparing yung dalawang tool na yan. So yung Next.js scores out of 71 out of 100, yung Astro 92 out of 100. So that's a very big jump when it comes sa performance ng isang website. So ayan. So if you're planning to give Astro a try, ayun, meron din sila ditong tutorial pala. Ayan, for you to get up and running with Astro. Ayan.
Parang ang pinaka-highlight niya is about performance.
Yeah. Pinaka-highlight niya is parang, yun nga, with the number of, kasi with, as far as I know, with Next.js kasi is parang full hydration siya. So what does it mean? So parang lahat nung on initial load, parang niloload niya na kagad lahat ng mga JS niya. And for for users na, let's say, very low yung end device nila, yung when it comes sa, hindi yun yung latest na mga devices, syempre, matagal yun maglo-load, di ba? So, with Astro, siniship niya lang talaga yung mga JS, and you, of course, as a developer, you have the, I guess, responsibility, or you'll determine, basically, kung ano yung mga dapat na, or mga pages na ilo-load mo. So, just like yung sa, yung Astro Island architecture, or yung island architecture as a whole. So, ayan.
Okay. So yan kasi madalas yung tanong no, parang ano mas okay ba siya over next kasi usually yun yung parang tanong So,
Yeah.
ito may question tayo. From Paulo. Ayan. So, Astro is like a combination of HTML, JS, and CSS in one web frameworking and development tool.
Yes.
So, yung question na.
So,
Though
yes,
ang
yes.
no, kasi parang kahit anong gamitin mo, kahit nag-React ka or mag-Svelte ka, parang pwede dito
Yeah, actually. So, pwede mong explore talaga yung mga tools or yung existing tools that you have, and then try to build your site. And I think Siguro kung ito yung maging ultimate web framework, not sure. Pero ayun. Kasi we've been trying to, create a lot of JavaScript sites or sorry, frameworks, mga web frameworks. So maybe uh, this might end yung part na uh, mamimili tayo kung ano yung framework na gagamitin natin. So, ayun.
Okay. So, kung yun yung question, no? Anyway, siguro, ano lang, like, last, or since magkarami dito students, no? Ano yung
Mhm.
siguro tip mo to students na lalo na ganito na overwhelming yung technology, no? Like,
Ah,
how would they deal with
yeah,
kaya na ganito kadaming parang yung learning curve is high?
very high na. Siguro one trait na pwede kong i-suggest is na to have is basically yung lagi kang curious. Kasi when it comes sa technology as a whole, mabilis magbago eh. Ito, as far as I know, last year lang ata to. So, but then, ayan, nakapag-deploy na kagad sila ng maraming mga websites. So, parang as a individual or as a student na, let's say, bago pa lang talaga sa technology, you have to always be curious. And apart from being curious, kailangan mo, siguro sabihin na natin yung hard work.
Hmm.
Kasi when it comes to, kasi, syempre nakakapagod nga na madaming technologies na inaaral. Like, after a month or two, may bago na namang tech. So, I think yun yung pinaka-important trait is, and being curious, hardworking, and always stay up to date as much as possible. Kasi, ayun nga, mabilis nga talagang mag-progress yung technology as a whole.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Exciting.
so yun, no? Thank you, Brian, sa time. Alam kong, ano, hindi ka usually TikTok. Pero if ever man na may question sila or siguro gusto nila matry yung makita siguro yung ginawa mong project. Like, saan kila pwedeng ma-reach
Yeah.
or mahanap?
So usually nag-explore ako ng mga frameworks or dito sa GitHub. Siguro sa GitHub and meron naman akong email dito. So if plano akong i-message, so nag-explore din ako ng mga PWAs at saka Corona Tracker PWA. Ayan, view Pokemon. So also trying out micro FE. So yung stencil. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Ayan. So, ayan,
I
no,
don't have
feel
kasi
free to,
later. Uh,
okay lang, okay lang. Feel free to follow siguro na lang do sa GitHub. And mag-email kayo
sure,
if may
sure.
questions. Yan.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you, Brian, sa time. Yan.
Yeah, thanks for having me
And
as well.
yes, so may konting announcements lang ako sa mga viewers. Yan. So syempre, basa muna tayo ng content from Christine yan. Wow. Sabi ni Rasi, nice. Sabi din ni Marco de Guzman, time to level up. Ano naman? Kaya yan. Punta lang, attend na kayo ng mga web talks natin, cloud talks, kasi definitely marami tayong matututunan. Okay, so,
Maybe
so yung
we'll
mga
try din yung
questions lang. Ah, tayo
maybe
nyo
we'll
din
try
siya.
din
So,
yung Astro. Yeah.
mm
Try nyo din at your own pace siguro.
okay, so, question no, yung tungkol sa e-certificate. Kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, pwede kayong makakuha ng e-certificate by creating EPWA Pilipinas account and by visiting bit.ly/webtalk-astro. Tapos, tawag nito, mag-register lang kayo sa event na to. Open siya until tonight. And pwede kayo mag-check-in. May check-in button dun sa event page. Click nyo lang yun, so mag-download din yung certificate. Or if not, mag-email kayo sa atin. Okay, so ano pa ba tayong announcement? Siguro, few words kung saan nyo kami makikita. So, ayan, nasa Facebook tayo, Facebook groups. If may questions kayo, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, may newsletter din tayo and may app. Yan. So, lagi lang i-check yung app and pag nagtanong siya ng in-app notification, allow niyo lang para lumabas yung mga bago nating events. Yan. So, yan. Nakuha na daw si June Paul ng kanyang certificate. And, yes, meron pa tayong mga webinars next month, definitely. And, stay tuned lang. Follow niyo kami sa mga socials natin kasi malapit na yung DevCon Summit. Malapit na yung DevFest. Actually, may registration na for that. So, may booth tayo dyan sa Manila leg ng DevFest. So, punta kayo kung sa mga nasa Metro Manila. Try natin pumunta sa iba pa, no? Pampanga, Baguio, Davao. Pero, for sure may local DevFest event na malapit sa inyo. So, punta lang kayo dyan. Ano pa ba? Meetup. Magkakaroon tayo in-person meetup pero December yun. For other talks naman, check nyo lang yung app natin lagi kasi in-update namin yan in advance. So, yun lang. Oh, yeah. Also, if gusto nyo nang mag-contribute sa open source, oktoberfest.pwapilipinas.org. Visit nyo lang yan. Makita yung mga repos na saan kayo pwede mag-contribute. Mga communities na may event for this month. Alam kong hindi pa tapos yung October, so may mga events pa yan na pwede nyo i-attend. Meron din tayo actually na repo na pwede kayo mag-contribute. So, yun. So, once again, yan. From Duli Pilipinas, I'm Adesito de Guzman and maraming salamat sa time, Brian.
Thank you as well. Hopefully, meron pang ulit next.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yes. Salamat. Bye-bye.
Thank you.